are at Cannery Row in Monterey on the Monterey Peninsula. I'm halfway through my Travels with Charlie journey across America with my Airstream, and now we're at the statue group commemorating his novella Cannery Row. There's so much to see here. I want to show you just a little of this incredible place, which was so central to the imagination and the artistic achievement of John Steinbeck. We know the actual people who are behind the characters in Cannery Row. So perched atop, you have Steinbeck. At the base is Ricketts. And then you see the Chinese fisherman, Madame Flora, the owner of the whorehouse. The four boys are based on real people, and here they are. And then Steinbeck with that bird perched on his head. I love this. I think this is a really groovy statue group. And even if you never read the book, you kind of get a sense, don't you, of the social life here. Doc's Lab. Ricketts was of extraordinary influence on Steinbeck. And Steinbeck helped Ricketts. Ricketts was a great marine biologist and he wrote a textbook which is still used, but he was not a good businessman. And so Steinbeck helped him financially. He invested in the lab. And it was Steinbeck and Ricketts who went on the famous Sea of Cortez tour, which produced one of Steinbeck's greatest books. That's Doc's Lab. And it's really worth touring because they have old posters on the wall, old vintage LPs and a record player. And you just kind of get a feel of that era. So this is Lee Chung's store. It's been destroyed by kitsch and souvenirs, but a lot of the cabinetry inside is original. Some ice chests where they would bring in blocks of ice. The novella Cannery Row sort of headquarters here and at Doc's Lab. So these two places are central to the success of that novel. You can see that if this were still an industrial site, there wouldn't be anybody here. But because it's now John Steinbeck country in Cannery Row and high-end seafood places and chocolate places and popcorn and wax museums and so on, it's all a tourist site and a high-end one at that. Steinbeck's muse was here. He wrote about the Salinas Valley and Monterey and with such beauty that this was really what inspired his greatest work. So this has been a very quick tour of Cannery Row. Just keep in mind, in Steinbeck's time, it was just a smelly old industrial town. Now it's one of the great tourist towns of the West Coast, partly because Monterey Bay is so drop-dead gorgeous. You have to come and see it for yourself. This is one of the great Steinbeck places, but it's also just one of the great places where you can really linger and enjoy yourself. When he came back here, he said, "Yeah, you can't go home again." He was quoting Thomas Wolfe's great novel, "You can't go home again." He felt like a kind of an alien in a place where he was celebrated as he had never been celebrated during his prime life as a writer. So let's get back on the road.